right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Developing Apex Brands, here with your boy Dwayne, coming to you live from the Edit Bay. So on today's episode of Developing Apex Brands, we're going to be talking about how do you create micro for your social medias. As most serious content creators know, we are in the age of information overload. Everybody has a network, everybody has a platform in the form of social media where they're constantly bombarding you with new information, new dates, new content, just new everything 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, unfortunately, if you want to be competitive and remain relevant, you're going to have to make sure that you at least keep up with the rat race to make sure that you're putting out content on a daily basis, making sure that you're keeping people engaged, making sure that you're drawing them to the platform. And one of the great ways that you're able to use your content to draw new audience to your platform is by creating micro content. Now, a lot of us vloggers and a lot of people who are in spaces where they're constantly being followed by cameras and thus creating vlogs. There is a model created by a man by the name of Gary Vee. Some may not be familiar with him, but a lot of people are. But Gary Vee is a very prominent social media marketer, owner of a large marketing company called VaynerMedia, as well as a wine company and that he owns. I can't think of the name of it right now. I've actually had the privilege to taste it, and it's strong is what I'll say. But Gary Vee came out with a model some years back called the Gary Vee model. And basically what it does is it allows for you to take long form vlogging content and then break that down into smaller, digestible, bite-sized pieces to create 10s and 20 additional pieces of content out of one, maybe 30-minute to an hour long vlog that you may have put together. So I'm gonna go into the process right here. So what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to open up my Premiere Pro, and as you can see here, what this is a vlog that I did for one of my clients last year by the name of Max Maxwell. He's a real estate investor guy out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So we spent some time out in Torrance, California, which is basically a small suburb south of Los Angeles. We spent about maybe 5 days out there. But while we were out there, Max was purchasing a plane from a company called Sling. And Sling has a manufacturing facility right in Torrance, California. So we went out there for some time to spend out there. And, obviously working with Max, my job was to make sure that I vlogged all of the content. But yeah, we spent some time out in Torrance, California, me and Dave. We flew in two separate slings. I flew in the sling with Max. Dave flew in the sling with the other plane manufacturing builders. And I definitely had a great and amazing time while we were out there. So basically what I did was, after spending some time out there, we flew back to Winston, and then I put together a vlog here. So as you can see, this is my sequence timeline for the vlog that I put together for the video that I shot for Max. So basically, again, this is just my sequence here. And as you can see, I took a piece of this sequence and made sure that it was rose colored, right? Now, you might be asking yourself, why did you make that portion of the sequence rose colored? Well, as you can see, it's not a very long portion. So as you can see, let me just zoom back out. The complete length of this video was 8 minutes and 14 seconds, right? So, you can't put an 18-minute and 14-second video on social media. I mean, you can put it on Facebook. Now you can put it on IG. You could put an 8-minute video out there, but you really are trying to hit different attention spans. Because, as we know, the attention span of the average person is getting shorter and shorter and shorter due to the fact that, we're being bombarded with sensory overload through our phones, through television, through, trying to remain alert to stay alive throughout the day. It's just, our senses are being overused. So people's attention spans are subsequently getting shorter. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to hit all different types of attention spans. Me, the type of person that I am, I like to look at long form videos. I look at things that are 30 minutes, an hour long. but I'm a pretty serious analytical type of guy. So that type of thing doesn't bother me. But other people, they may not have the same amount of time that I do. They may have children. They may be married. They may have a more stringent job than I have. So I can't necessarily expect that person to have 30 minutes or an hour in their day to spend to watch a video. So if all you're putting out is long form videos, you might be missing an entire group of people that you might be able to, reach and teach. So creating micro helps us and gives us the ability to do that. So I have an 8-minute and 14-minute video. Let's say, I have a single mother of 4, right? Her husband passed and she wants to get into content creation and she wants to get into, starting a media company, right? Well, I can't give her 30 minutes of information, right? Or an hour of information. She's a single mother with 4 kids. She got to work 2 jobs, but while she's doing her lunch break, she can definitely scroll through Instagram and get 1 minute bite-sized pieces of information. So this is what this is going to allow us to do, right? So if you can see here, this portion of rose-colored sequence clips starts at 5:28 and it ends at 6:07. So roughly about 44 seconds is how long that clip is, right? So what you're going to do is you want to find pieces of these clips, right, that draw you in, that, you don't want to just take 40-second or 1-minute clips of randomness. You want to find pieces of your vlog or pieces of your content that have meaning, that, draw you to it, that make you want to actually watch the full video, right? Once you find those pieces of content, you're going to chop them down into 1 minute, anywhere from 30-minute to 1-minute clips, right? So as again, you can see this is a 44-second clip. So what you would do here is cut this down and eventually it's going to turn in to this. How do you turn it into this? Well, guys, let's get it started. Let's start from the very beginning, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to my project panel and you're going to look for new item. Click on new item, make sure that you go up to sequence, click your sequence. Now, I'm just gonna call this Torrance vlog example or micro example. All right, make sure your settings are correct. 19 by 20, 1080. Shooting this in 29.97 frames. All right, cool, we're all good to go. So I'm going to import my sequence into the sequence panel. And then I'm going to go back over to here. So now, basically, you're going to find the clip that you want to find, right? Now I turn the sound off just for speaking sake, but all right. So look, we got our 1 minute clip. So we're going to take our 1 minute clip and make sure that we're dragging our sound as well. We're going to make sure we cut that. And also cut here. So Command K. All right. So now as you can see, and I'm going to make sure I also untap that. So I've selected everything that's a part of that 44-second clip that I want to bring over into my new sequence. So I'm going to take this and drag this up into our new sequence. Boom. Keep existing settings. All right, perfect. Now, here's our 1 minute clip. Now, you could do one of 2 ways. I'm taking you guys around the long way. You could essentially skip this step if you wanted to. But this is just for people who want to make sure that they're covering all their bases and they have all of their dimensions covered. So what I did was I made sure that I created a new sequence, right? I went down here to my project panel, created a new sequence, made sure that it was a 19 by 20 by 1080. Now, this isn't going to be the dimension of an Instagram or Facebook. I mean, technically you can put it in there, but it's not going to look as cohesive with your other pages. And then it may even throw off your timeline when you're looking at it in totality on the profile page. So basically, again, this is just for anybody who wants to have this micro done at a 19 by 20 by 1080. For everybody else that's looking for a 10 by 10 or a 1080 by 1080, we want to make sure that we go back down to our project panel, click new item. We're going to make a new sequence. Okay. And then we're going to go over to our settings tab. In the settings tab, make sure that you're making your frame size 1080 by 1080, right? Don't have to change anything else. Click OK. Boom. So now, as you can see, this is going to be a square as opposed to this rectangle that you've been seeing from these other two panels right here, right? So let me go ahead and slide this over. So these two panels right here, you see how these are 1920 by 1080? This is what the camera is going to be shooting in, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our whole sequence here, right? Everything in the sequence, you can either drag or you can press Command A or Control A if you have a Windows computer, but I'm on a Mac here. So Control A, you're gonna grab everything and drag it up into your new sequence. Now, again, I forgot to name this sequence, but you know, when you created that new sequence in your project panel tab, at the bottom, you might have wanted to create a name for that as well, but really doesn't matter because once we export it, we're going to be able to name it exactly what we want anyway. So we've taken everything out of our Torrance Vlog Micro Example sequence tab, which is our 44-second clip, and we've dragged it into our new sequence 4. It's going to say that the clips are mismatching, and that's okay because what actually happened is because we took something from a 1920 width and we threw it into something that has a 1080 width, the clips don't match up as far as what's going to be visible on screen. So, you know, essentially the program is just letting you know, error, there's a warning here, what do you want to do with this? So what I do is I just go ahead and say keep existing settings, okay? I want to make sure that our clips are flush. So cool little tip, if you just click in the empty space and press delete, it'll drag everything to the front for you instead of having to press Control A or drag and then scroll everything over. It just makes it a lot more easier. All right, so as you can see, I can play this clip. Let me go ahead and mute this here. So, okay, you can see I'm playing this clip, but as you can see, everything is bunched in still. You can't see everything that's on screen, right? You can see everything on screen here, but for some reason here, you can't see everything that's on screen. So what we want to do, again, Command A, select everything, and we're going to right click one of these clips, and we're going to scroll down until we can get to set to frame size, okay? Make sure you click set to frame size. What that's going to do is that's going to take that video and it's going to crop it down to make sure that your left and right side are lined up and flush, right? So essentially what it did was it took that 19 by 20 by 1080 and dropped it down to a 1080 width, but still kept the integrity of the dimensions. So as you can see, now you have these two little black bars that are above and below your video. And, you know, everything looks good, right? You haven't really lost any pixelation or any integrity of your video. Everything looks great still. So now, what do we do with these black bars? Well, that's where Photoshop comes in. So essentially what you want to do is you want to be able to take a screenshot of whatever you see here. So in your Premiere panel and your program panel here, where you can see your video, there's a camera button right here. Click export frame, right? And what you want to do is go ahead and name it whatever you want to do. So I'll just say Torrance plane screenshot, so SS. And then I'm gonna pick where I want to throw it at. So I'm gonna just go ahead and throw it on, actually no, I'll throw it in my downloads here, throw it at the bottom. So chose to throw it there. Do I want to import it in the project? You can if you want. I don't see a need to, so I'm just not going to import it to save the clutter. So press OK. So that file has been saved to my downloads folder. So then what we're gonna go do is go into the Photoshop. And I'm doing all of this in real time, guys, just to show you how really easy this is, you know. When you first start, it may take you a little while to get used to. I know when I first started doing micro, it wasn't the easiest thing to do. And it took me a little while to get the hang of it, but I eventually caught on, and now I can knock a micro out really, really quickly. So let's go back to our downloads tab. And here's our torrents plane screenshot. So right click it, and we're gonna open that in Photoshop. All right, so boom, now you can see we've taken the margins off of the ends of that video, and we have two bars, right? One up top, one up bottom. So what you want to do is you want to make something that's relevant, that stands out, sticks out for your video, right? So this video was about aviation. So let's just make a simple border, shall we, right? So I'm going to create a new layer. Make sure that I drag that under my top layer because we don't want to cover that up. And I'm going to get my bucket here, my paint bucket. And I want to have a simple, nice white background, okay? So we're going to hit it, boom. As you can see, white fills up the back. We have our two nice white backgrounds. And then I'm going to get me some typography, right? And we have a text layer, and just make it a little bit bigger. Drag it over some. And we're just going to call this Torrents Vlog. All right. Get a little bit bigger. All right, Torrents Vlog. And center that. And then we might want to add some more text here. And we're going to say flying to Catalina Island. All right. Make that a little bit smaller so it's visible. Boom. All right. And we're just keeping it real simple, guys. I'm not trying to be too intricate, just for tutorial sake. We'll make it just a little bit bigger. All right. Center that up. Flying around Catalina. We'll just fill it all the way out just so you guys can see. Tune in every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. All right, cool. So we'll take that, make it a little bit smaller, just to make it look a little bit more cohesive. All right, that's centered. Make it a tad bigger. Boom. All right, cool. So look, it looks like we have a nice, cool little border that we can place on our Instagram feed, on our Facebook feed, to draw people in, right? So now I want to do is make sure that this is an actual border and not just an underlay, because if you see here, when we remove our top layer here, which is just a screenshot from our video, we can see that there's still a bunch of white here in the middle. So what we do is just go back here. We're going to press Command and press on our layer 1 on the thumbnail. It would be Control and press on the thumbnail here if you have Windows. And what that's going to do is that's going to highlight the border of our layer 1. Then what you're going to want to do is go down to your layer 2. And then all you have to do is press delete. Once you press delete, whatever was inside that layer that you selected, that's inside your marching ants, is going to delete on whatever layer that you have selected when you push the delete button. So essentially what we did was we went over here to our layer 1, we pushed command or control and clicked the button. We made sure that we highlighted what's inside the marching ants, which is the plain border, and then we came down here to our layer 2, hit delete. You can press command D, but then now when you make this top layer invisible, now you can see that whatever was inside is now gone. So now we have a nice elegant border that we can put around our video. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take it, we're going to save this, and let's just say save as. And we're going to save this as Torrance plain frame. All right, save that, we're okay. And the cool thing with Premiere Pro and any of the Adobe Suite softwares is that they're cross compatible. So even though I only save that as a PSD file, I don't have to also export it as a PNG file or a JPEG in order to import it directly into Premiere Pro. It'll automatically import for me. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take my Torrance plain frame file, PSD file, drag it into here. What it will ask me is, do I want to merge all the layers? Because we're just doing something quick and simple, we're just going to merge all the layers. There is a way where if you want to make these individual layers, you can make them individual layers, and then you can animate your text and whatever else you may have on there. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to keep it simple and click merge all layers. So you click OK. That's going to import your file for you. Now you want to make sure that your frame layer is on the bottom layer, right? Because you don't want anything to overlap on top, unless that's what you're looking for an effect. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everything on layer 1 is clear for our frame. So we're going to take everything, highlight it, and we're going to move it up a tick right here. Perfect. All right, so now go over to your frame, drag it into the sequence. Make sure you drag your frame all the way to the end, and you'll be able to tell that it's lined up by the downward facing triangles. Boom, let it go. And boom, as you can see, what we made in Photoshop right here is now visible inside of our Premiere sequence on our new micro that we're making here. So as you can see, now I can go back down to my sequence tab, hit enter, and everything that we had from the actual vlog is now in a small package that we just made in probably less than 5-8 minutes, right? So what once was 1 8-minute or almost 9-minute video has now been broken down into 11-12 minutes of content, right? Simply by just repurposing what we already had. So, you know, I'll let you guys hear it. Sounds great.
Can we do one wing over? Yeah, one wing over.
Yeah, man. So that's how you make micro. And all you need to do in order to export, just make sure that you press Shift I to go to the beginning of the sequence. Make sure you set your end marker. You want to press Shift and then O on your keyboard. That'll take you to your last clip sequence, and make sure that, you know, you're doing this because this will also help you pick up any scragglers. You know, sometimes you may have taken, you know, some video that we're chopping up and slid it to the end. You may have forgotten about it. And then, you know, it's nasty if you export something, it takes you a long time, and then you see, oh, wow, I had this garbage at the end. So make sure that you're in and outing your sequences. So make sure, again, Shift O, go to the end of your sequence, and then just press O by itself. And as you can see, this little gray space that has now been created is showing exactly where my video is starting and where my video is gonna end. So now we have a full clip. Press Control I to go back to the beginning, and then you can either go to File export media, or shortcuts, which we love shortcuts. All you have to do is press Control M or Command M. That'll open up your export settings. And, export settings are pretty much up to you. I definitely like to make sure that I'm exporting on the format H.264. One of my cheat codes here is for the preset, I choose adaptive medium bitrate. So, it gives me a pretty clean but quick output. And then boom, go ahead and either queue it if you have additional work that you want to do, or it's a super long edit, or if it's a nice quick edit like we have for this micro. All you need to do is press export, and boom, there you have it, man. That's basically how you make micro. So very simple. All you need to do is just take your long form content, make sure that it's something meaningful, cut it down into anywhere between 30 to 1 minute clips. Then you can create sequences such as these. Then you'll create sequences such as this, where you'll be able to go into Photoshop, create your frame, import your frame back into Premiere Pro, and you'll have a nice, clean, concise package such as this, guys. So it's really not hard to make media. It's really not hard to get the ball rolling. A lot of times we just don't have the information, or we don't really know where to start, man. So I just gave you guys a gem, part of the Gary V model of content creation, man. If you are a vlogger and you're out here already making vlogs, you can use this information not only for micro content, but also to create maybe smaller bite-sized portions of your longer videos. Maybe you have a video that's an hour long. Well, maybe take that video and cut that down into maybe 5 to 10, 12-minute videos. So now you've taken one piece of content that was an hour long. You've been able to cut that down into 5, another 10 pieces of content by cutting that down into 5 to 10-minute videos. Then those 5 to 10-minute videos, you can then take those down, break those down into smaller bite-sized chunks for your social media. So what was one 1-hour video now can produce maybe 30, 40, even 50 individual pieces of content that you can spread over all of your social media and all of your platforms. So definitely make sure you're taking advantage of this content creation cheat code. All of the big companies are using it. A lot of the companies that I've worked for have used this model. So definitely make sure that you're implementing this into your content creation, into your business model, so that you can draw more customers and draw more eyes to your brand. If you like this video, please make sure that you like the video. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the page. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please make sure that you leave those below in the comment section, and also make sure that you turn on the bell for notifications. Again, thank you for coming to another episode of Developing Apex Brands.